For people that don't know what that was like, because we were in our own COVID
Yeah.
bubble, what was touring during COVID like?
I think the biggest thing was, like we said to everyone at the start of the tour, like, we have an opportunity to show everyone that it can be done.
Yeah.
If you do it properly.
Yeah.
And it hit the crews harder than everyone else, is the reality. And, you know, touring crews, and everyone in that circle has a bunch of friends who are also in touring crews. So it's like all of our friends in the touring industry are depending on us showing that this can be done.
Yeah.
So, you know, tested every day, you tested any time you got on a bus. Like, the isolating was super strict, no indoor dining, no, like, couldn't use gyms, couldn't do this thing, couldn't do that thing. I'm pretty strict on tour anyway, like, I don't drink and I go straight to sleep and all of that kind of stuff, kind of the opposite of, I think, what everyone thinks I'm probably doing after a show. But, you know, it's like, I was very, very, like, proud of just the way that everyone took it on and banded together and
you pulled it off.
Covered other people when they were out, and everyone went kind of very much above and beyond their job description to kind of get it done.
Was it lonely for you though at times, doing it that way?
Yeah, I mean, touring's kind of lonely sometimes anyway.
Yeah.
And I strangely feel very lucky that I'm used to it, and I kind of just use that time to, like, attempt to take care of myself as well as possible.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'll sleep like 10, 11 hours minimum when I'm touring a night.
I haven't slept that much since I was like 16.
You're like 6.
Exactly.
But it's more like the traveling that is the tiring thing, and then I kind of look at it as like, okay, for a couple of hours a night, give it everything, and then the rest of the time I'll spend, like, trying to take care of myself
preparing for the next
as
one.
well as I can.
Yeah.
And if I kind of cocoon and just, like, focus, I can do it.
I mean, you're so responsible. I've got so many stories from my friends who have, like, texted me or called me from the road and been like, yeah, I broke my leg. It's like,
Yeah.
doing what? Skateboarding. I'm like, you're on tour, dude. What are you doing skateboarding?
Yeah.
Like, didn't your insurance company give you a list of do's and don'ts? Like, even football.
Yeah, there's
the
always...
amount of artists that go out there and play, like,
Well,
social football.
I did it once on the last One Direction tour where I played football and I broke my foot.
See?
And I did one show in Dublin in, like, one of those big boots, and it was so not fun that I was like, okay, I'm just gonna strap it up.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna take, like, some pain medication and I'm just gonna do it. And then after the show, I'll just let it throb until, and we had like 2 months of the tour left.
Yeah.
So I was kind of doing that. It's so funny to me because, like, after the show, I'd take, like, an ice bath or something.
Yeah.
But under whatever I'm wearing, I look like an old man playing tennis. Like, I've got knee brace and my ankles are strapped up and, like, the whole thing. I'm kind of like, you know.
When we spoke a few years back, I asked you why we were having a conversation in LA and on the coast and stuff. And we talked a bit about home.
Mm-hmm.
And you made a really sort of astute observation that, you know, London was sort of the closest thing to felt like home at the time because you spent most time there. But I could tell that you hadn't really committed to an answer. You didn't really know what that felt like at that moment in your life. And I sort of feel that for all the reasons we've just been talking about, you know, we all had to ask ourselves, like, where's home, or where are we making home for the next 2 years because we're restricted in travel and stuff. And you went back to the UK, and I wonder whether you found it.
Yeah, I think I did the pandemic in, like, 4 chunks, really. So when it first hit, I was in LA, so I was there until you could move around.
Yeah.
And I was there for maybe like 2.5 months.
And you recorded during that time,
I did,
right?
yeah.
So
I took like 6 weeks where I did absolutely nothing. And because, you know, we didn't know how long it was
no
gonna
one
be.
was doing anything. We were like wiping down the surfaces of the food
Exactly.
that was arriving. I mean, no one knew what we're dealing with.
And I started just writing a lot after that first kind of pause. And
you booked a studio.
And we went back to Shangri-La.
Shangri-La, which is Rick's space.
Nice because, I mean, it's amazing, but also it's a good kind of, you can stay there, and we were able to, like, bubble up.
Yeah,
And
because
that
how did the
was-
rest of your team feel about that? I don't know how they felt or you felt, but I know for the first 3-4 months of the spring of 2020 out here, leading into the summer, I would drive up and down the 10, which is a freeway, and it was me and 3 other cars. I mean, it really felt like the day after tomorrow or like I Am Legend or something. And yet you're already booking studio time and you're like, come on, we're going to get back out into it. Was anyone like, oh?
It was definitely, at the start, it was definitely like, okay, is that what we're going to do? And it was kind of like, that's what I'm going to do.
That's
For
an
sure.
answer. That's
And like, I totally understand if you would like to come, I would really like it.
I just would have loved it if you'd shown up